Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 224 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. What's up, guys?
225 mean anything?
224. 224.
That's what I'm saying. Does 225 mean anything?
It's not really
know,
like
does
a
it?
milestone, I guess, or a big milestone.
But what's 225?
No.
Yeah, no, I guess not.
It's a lot
It
of
seems like it should be. Seems like it should be.
I wish I had like an accounting somewhere of the total amount of hours that we have out there. Like of just us talking, like what's the total? Because I mean, I could, guess, based on like our average episode length.
It should be way less. I was just talking to everyone, my whole family about this. Like, I was like, hey, because my wife was like, well, when are you going to be done? And I was like, I mean, theoretically, we should be done in an hour, right? I feel like that's what I signed on for when they were like, hey, let's go to every week. And I was like, hey, I'll go every week as long as we keep it to an hour. And you guys were like, yeah. no problem.
We
like
did
an
it
hour.
First.
And then,
first.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, I looked at last episode, it's an hour 40. And I'm like, God.
We've been averaging an hour 40, hour 50.
That's too much, man. That's too much, man.
We just gotta talk about
so
stuff faster.
the other thing I would say is that if I know there's been some requests for people to ask me personally stuff, and I'm not really on Facebook or Discord at the moment, so you can either email me so I think I made it, and I think I'm Damon at welcomehomepodcast.com. I think I have that now.
Wait, you made yourself an email address, really?
Yeah, why not?
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I mean, he does manage the domain for us, so he can do that.
Yeah,
well,
I kind of do a lot of stuff.
He's never divulged that before, I feel like.
Well, no, because I just made it. That's why.
Oh, you just did? Okay, just did it. Okay.
I just made it. Or you can find me at BSC Kids. So I've also kicked up Toy Royalty. I'm coming back. We did our first toy review. I just recorded it with my daughter today, so it should be out and about. Which is interesting because I think that's the thing I missed. I missed that sort of stuff. Like toy reviews were fun, man. So hopefully get some Disney stuff coming up too. Yeah. Toy reviews.
Speaking of toys, I finished my my Pac-Man arcade cabinet Lego set.
Oh, I thought you were going to say actual arcade cabinet. That was super exciting.
No. But it's like I sent this on the Discord. Trevor, you probably saw it, right? So so I finished that. It's probably my favorite Lego set I've ever done. It's the most complicated one for sure that I've ever done. A lot of
you
moving
did the
pieces.
Castle though too, right?
Yeah, I did the castle, but the castle's fairly straightforward. Like the Pac-Man one, Damon, if you look at it, it's like it's got a crank on the side of it, and you can crank it, and it like the ghosts and Pac-Man move across the screen. Like so, it's the mechanical parts of it were. I mean, there's no mechanical parts to the castle, right? Like that's just straight building. Like this was a lot more, which I like. I like the complicated sets. It's part of why I very rarely buy sets because I can't find ones that I want that are complicated enough. I want something that's
I agree with
challenging.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, so I just finished that. I'm actually I'm looking at it right now. It's in my office as I record this. So
nice.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just thinking to myself how like we're probably the fastest podcast out there as far as turnaround time. Like we're recording this the night before, and this podcast will be available at 1 a.m. Tomorrow.
Not only that, but the other thing that I've noticed, the more I listen to podcasts, that just in general, is that the sound quality of ours is far superior to probably 90%, if not more, of the other podcasts out there. And some of them, like I'm listening to, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I just can't listen to them anymore. I'm like, dude, this is terrible.
We're pros at this point, man. We're pros.
Yeah, I feel like
early sound. Every time somebody like talks about one of like listening from the beginning, I'm just like, ooh, I just wince a little bit because like the first like I don't know how many episodes. We were still trying to figure it all out, and the audio quality wasn't there. We had cheap like $25 microphones.
I mean, I still had that microphone until like 2 months ago when you guys finally got it.
Mine's still on a shelf, but
that's true.
So coincidentally, my wife actually said she was listening to the last episode, and it finished, and it actually looped back around to the first episode. And she was kind of thrown off from it because she thought that it was, she's like, what, is there another episode I didn't know about? But then she started listening and she was like, yeah, it like you can hear the difference in like how we were like talking, but then also audio quality and everything. Like it's it's a lot.
It's I mean, it takes a while to find your footing with this stuff, right? Like, especially like with chemistry, with talking, and it's and that's part of the reason why we have a hard time with having guests on sometimes too, because not really everybody gets what we do, right? And like some people just stay quiet.
Remember when Jeremy came on with some like Apple earbuds? Like, what was that about?
Jeremy's never going to live that down. I feel so bad for Jeremy. He kept cutting out.
Who shows up with Apple earbuds, man? Like,
no,
oh, poor Jeremy.
And it's funny because it must not have just been the earbuds, because here's the thing, like my son records off like professional, like people that are on Spotify use Apple earbuds to record. So like what happened? Like what was going on?
Earbuds though? I think it's I feel it's a combination of a bunch of different hardware, right? Like if you don't, it's not the earbuds necessarily. It's, people are using those. They're also connecting into, like a system set up for producing content. Whereas, and I get it,
maybe.
Jeremy, I get it. You don't have a bunch of podcasting gear. Ignore these guys. It happens, right?
Wait, don't rope me into Damon's criticisms. I was saying I felt bad.
Hey, yeah, you guys weren't the one. You weren't like, oh, it's okay. You're just like, no, dude, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Just get out. Just leave. But I mean, but that's partly, and my well documented. I also have it bothers me when we have bad audio quality. I don't like it. So and that's part of the problem too. Is it's like it drives me a little bit nuts when we have bad audio quality. So.
I can understand that though.
That's just
so. Yeah. So what else have we been doing? Yeah. So I mean, that's all I've been doing. Being busy with things
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, but I did. So if everyone remembers when we were talking about the shirts, right? Like how many T-shirts I had. So my son decided that it would be worthwhile to do. Obviously, there's a Reddit group out there, right? A vintage T-shirt Reddit group. So I was kind of like curious on some of the stuff that I had. So we started going through it, and I realized that I have probably I have tons and tons and tons of T-shirts. Probably have like at least 150 vintage T-shirts. Oh, so I think I'm gonna do some videos. I think I'm doing videos, man. And
doing another podcast series or a video series.
No, everything stays on one YouTube channel. The BSC Kids YouTube channel. Instead of like what's in my attic, it's like going to be like what's in my cross out attic closet. Like, oh, we're looking for something. What's in my garage, right? Like we're going to do all that. So it will be under the same place that people, if they're looking for it. But what I guess I'm leading my way into the Disney part of this. So I didn't realize how collectible the old Disney T-shirts were by the vintage community. Right. I kind of was under this impression that like vintage T-shirt collectors weren't really, the Venn diagram of, people.
Like T-shirts are a very widespread thing. And
so
I mean, specifically Disney ones. Yeah.
There was this guy. Yeah, there's this guy that did a video, like he was kind of showing his collection. And I think the thing that's cool about my collection is that they're all mine rather than like swap meets or buying them after the fact, right? But he was showing like Goofy shirts and, Disney shirts within his collection as like kind of like high value items. And I was a little surprised by that, but, pleasantly surprised as well. Because I look at some of the stuff that I have and, maybe some of my stuff is at this point 15 years old from Disney. Maybe, maybe 15 years old, maybe a little bit older, which isn't really vintage yet. But it was interesting to see some of the stuff. Like he had a Goofy shirt that was probably from 90s, I think.
Yeah, I just actually had a bit of an existential crisis when you said that because So when you said like, things from 15 years ago, in my head, I still think like 15 years ago was like the 90s or like when I was a kid, when the reality is it's like we're talking 25, 30 years ago. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why when I find stuff like of mine that's like super old like that, I go, wow, this is really old now. This is really old. Yeah.
So Damon, my brother-in-law, his parents have been going to Disney since it opened, and they don't throw anything away. Like, you know, and so he went through their basement and found like all of these old shirts from the parks, and
probably
every time
$200 a pop.
Well, yeah, except he wears them every time we go with them to Disney. So
I mean, that's a little bit of a flex too. I get it. I get that. Like, I would kind of want to do the same thing, to be honest with you. Right.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, this shirt's from like the 60s. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it definitely is. So I think that there's fun to be had there as well. I just, like I said, I wish I had older stuff. I really wish if I had a River Country, like, I feel like that would have been the ultimate flex shirt. I mean, I know you can get like reprint ones, but I don't know, an OG River Country might have been it. That might have been the grail of shirts.
I wish I bought some Disney Quest merch back when that was a thing.
I would agree too. That would have been probably pretty.
I know
cool
they had
well.
merch for it, right? Like because there was like a gift shop.
I don't remember. I mean, the biggest thing again for me, like when you say Disney Quest, the only thing that really, truly, honest to goodness, immediately comes to my mind is the raft ride, and that's it. Like everything else is kind of blocked out because it was me, and I believe it was just my two boys. So I think there was 4 people in the raft, right? I feel like. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I feel like it was 4 people. And I don't think my daughter was born yet. And I remember doing that and just having an absolute blast doing that. It's like superseded all my other Disney Quest memories. I can't think of anything else besides that now.
Yeah,
I love that thing with the little rollers on the bottom of the oars. That. Like that was the best, man. That was the best.
It's funny you mentioned that because my brother-in-law actually sent me a picture of an old school River Country shirt that he found in his parents' stuff.
Yeah, see, I would respect that. The problem for me is like, if it's not mine, like listen, you know the way I'm with the golden button. I'm the same way with like stuff. Like if it's not mine, I don't want it. Like, so like I said, I have the Megatron Transformers OG, right? Gen 1, but I wouldn't buy it because it wasn't mine. Like the one I have is mine. So that's just me. But River Country would be cool.
I get that.
And I think if it's your parents, it's also fine too, right? Like if it's your parents' stuff, that's transferable.
Just for context for everyone that's listening, Tom is rifling pictures into the Facebook chat right now, which I mean, my phone just kept buzzing on me here. And so I went and I looked, and that I would love to see reprints of those shirts. Like, you know how Disney does, they do, redos of these things. These are 2 really good shirts.
But what's so funny about them is that they're double stitched too. Because back in the day, they would have been single stitch seams, right? Like that's kind of how you can find older shirts sometimes, is the single stitch. But I think the collar is what gives that one away more than anything. The River Country. Disney looks like such a goon there too. I mean, Mickey. Mickey looks like such a goon in that picture.
He kind of does, yeah.
Right, he really does.
I'm just laughing though too at the size of the shirt. I'm like, yeah, he definitely couldn't wear that shirt now. That's definitely a child size shirt.
And what year do we say this is from? This is OG River Country, huh?
I mean, it is. Yeah, this is stuff he found in his parents' basement. Now, the EPCOT one that I sent you guys has a copyright date on it, but I can't really read
1982.
Yeah. So it says 82 on it. Yeah. So these are just 2 that he found that he sent me. But he actually didn't wear these to the parks. He sent me this actually after our vacation because his parents were actually relocating to Florida. So
I mean, that's a pretty cool one. The Figment one is pretty cool. Like I have these dreams that, like, as I'm doing the What's in My Attic, which I'm like 2 months behind on because I've been doing other stuff. But in the new box that I found some stuff from EPCOT from the 80s that I kind of forgot that I had. But like I have these dreams that like maybe I find some of the stuff that like I missed. Right? Like maybe I did have a River Country shirt and it will just pop up out of nowhere, because even during my moves, we were talking about this today, like every move that I made, so from New Jersey to North Carolina, from North Carolina to our new house, I've always been like rushed and not a lot of time. So like we're just move stuff. Like I've never had a chance to actually go through any of that stuff. Right? It came from New Jersey and it just was like, we're moving like in a week. We might want to get everything out of the attic. Like, yeah, okay, just throw it in boxes and keep it moving. Like I didn't get a chance to really go through anything. And I think the thing that I missed the most is I guess I must have sold my like GoBots and Centurions because like I kind of miss them. Centurions were my favorite, man.
I gave away my GoBots because they weren't Transformers.
I mean, Leader 1 is still a man. Is still the man, but yeah. I mean, I think Centurions was still my favorite because they always had like new stuff kind of popping up. Like, oh, well, now you can make this. I was like, oh, that's so cool. But why would I get rid of them? I feel like I sold them at a garage sale. Like there was like, back in the day, you'd have these garage sales where you were just like selling stuff and you knew it was like, why am I selling this? I love it so much. But you want that extra $2 for like,
I was buying a Super Nintendo. Whatever. So that's where a lot of my childhood stuff went.
Well, and I don't think I have my Super Nintendo. I just don't think I do. Like, maybe I'll find it, but why would I ever get rid of that? I don't know. Like, where could it have gone? I have my Amigas. I have a 3DO, which is even better than anything. My favorite game system of all time. But
my parents gave me, when they were cleaning out their house, they gave me my old Sega Genesis. And also, they still had my Sega Dreamcast floating around, too.
Yeah, I had my Dreamcast. I have my Dreamcast,
and I have all my controllers. Dreamcast right now because I could spend the rest of the episode talking about Dreamcast. Yeah.
All right. We have to do some Disney stuff.
I will say I plugged the Genesis in and I was really disappointed that I couldn't get it to turn on. So, I was bummed. I had all the games too, all sorts of, they had everything. It was all just in a box. I was so bummed. But anyway, I think I still have it somewhere, with the hopes that I can get it to work someday.
What's in Tom's attic? We're doing it.
Nothing good. Nothing good.
Yeah.
All right. So we just have 2 listener questions. So really quick, Becky asks, do any of you guys use the community halls at DVC Resorts? And she said we usually have a good chunk of non-park time on arrival or departure day, and we found these to be pretty awesome.
But aren't they for like younger kids, I feel like?
Yeah, well, she said sometimes you could do crafts and pick up a few days later. We enjoyed the Boardwalks Community Hall yesterday with Miss Pac-Man, Star Wars pinball, air hockey, and foosball are all indoors and free, is what she said.
Oh, I like that. I can do free foosball.
Yeah, I see. I don't know about you, Damon. Maybe it's because we drive. Like the way we have it set up is typically the arrival day. We get there early enough that is a park day. Like we usually don't have like extra time floating around, and if we're not at a park, we're usually at the pool. So it's just not something we've done. What were you gonna say, Damon?
No,
there is no community hall at the Polynesian, so no.
Well, because you guys are terrible.
Oh my gosh, this is why.
Why like
go ahead, Trevor.
No, I said
you just said
whatever. I don't care what you think, Damon. Why would I go to another resort just for the community hall? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I don't know.
But why isn't there a community hall there?
Yeah,
probably because it was.
Maybe we'll get one with the new tower.
Maybe
because there's what?
Yeah. Because it was a retrofit. They redid existing rooms to be DVC rooms. Yeah. So I feel like when they do they don't really. There is
a whole building that used to be, or I know they use it for other things, but it was like Lilo's Playhouse or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, Lilo's.
Yeah, yep. It's just empty right now. We should make that into a community hall because it's actually really close to the DVC buildings too. So I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I still just need to know what Grand Villa I need to do. Wait, Tom, you did a Grand Villa, right?
No, I was planning on doing it next year. So I've been looking into it for next year. What
are you thinking? I've been looking at the points and I'm like, man, Old Key West is so cheap in comparison to like.
This is our problem.
Yeah.
Because we love staying in Animal Kingdom, right? And we're going to have 3 young kids that come with us. And so it's like hard to not do it. But the Animal Kingdom Savannah View is so much more expensive than Saratoga or Old Key. Like it's absurd.
Well, look at the Grand Floridian. Yeah. Like that's where I wanted to go. And then I was like, for that many points, I'm not sure I really want to go.
Look at how much the Riviera costs or that Grand Villa. Like the Riviera Grand Villa. What's that?
I think Grand Floridian is the most expensive one.
Is it? I don't know, man. Riviera was a lot. But you're probably
recently. So and I looked at Riviera and it was not as much. It was.
That doesn't shock me.
Yeah, and I was like, so it was funny because I kind of was asking my kids like, well, would you want to do 2 bedrooms here or Grand Villa there? And my one son was like, dude, Grand Villa, and I was like, all right, well, here's the Riviera Grand Villa, here's the Old Key Grand Villa, like. is there, I mean, they're definitely decorated differently, right? One's newer than the other, but like, what do you think? I don't care. I just want the rooms.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. We might be at Oki or Saratoga.
See, that's my dilemma though, like Damon, because like part of me is like, okay, my daughter will probably remember this next trip we're going to do, but the other two kids are not going to, but she really loves the animals. I don't know. It's just hard. And that part of me too, you also had said this, I think on a couple podcasts ago, is like, do you really want all the people staying in the same?
No, I would not. Like, if it's just, see, what we're doing is, we're going down with 5 people and staying at a place for 12. Like, that's acceptable, right?
Yeah, that's fine,
like, but I wouldn't want to go with a bunch of people. No, I need my alone time. My kids need their alone time. Like,
no. I get that. I mean, it's also hard for me to be like, hey, we're going to stay in a deluxe resort. You stay. So
what happens though? So if you get a grand villa, like, are people giving you money?
No. I mean, like, part of the reason why we bought DVC was to like take our family on vacation with us. Like, and so like for us, we do it because we want to take these vacations with our family. So, I mean, usually they'll pay for like dinner for us, like for a couple meals or whatever. But like, we don't ask for money usually. No,
I mean, that's
okay.
That's just it's just not how we do it. Like,
Yeah, I was just curious.
No, I mean, I can understand why people would ask for money, and I'm not even like saying it's a bad thing if you do ask for money, right?
So,
like, that's understandable, but like, it's just not.
It's weird just not to in ask our for money sometimes too, right? Like my parents were kind of saying the same thing. Like, so they brought their friends to Hilton Head, and they're like, well, and I was like, I mean, you could ask them for money. I would say I'd ask probably for, it'd take $15, whatever resale would be, and figure it somewhere around there, right? Like,
sure,
as what they would pay if they were, but yeah, it's still tough to ask, man.
Well, especially like, so you're right. And I mean, but I think the sheer amount of points that I would need if we were going to do a Savannah View Animal Kingdom
need
room,
somebody to chip in.
I mean, I feel like I need to ask for something, right? Like if we do Old Key West or Saratoga, it's like, whatever.
I mean,
like
that would be the conversation is, hey, we're either going to do these ones because I can afford it, or if you guys want to do the good one, I need y'all to, chip in, right?
Well, I think the thing is Tom wants to do the good one because his daughter's going to remember it.
That's right. Yeah.
How old is she again? Wait, how old is she?
5. She's 5, but she'll be 6 the next time we go.
Man.
So
she's not going to remember it.
Dude,
she'll remember it for like a month.
All she talks about still is that room from October. So.
Yeah. Ask her when she's 19.
To be honest, talking with my son about some of our early Disneyland trips, he does not remember a lot of it. Like he has like fuzzy memory.
I feel like it kind of floats around like 11. Like maybe around 11 is where they really like remember. I'm sure they remember certain parts of it, but I think for an overall vacation, I feel like if I was to ask my kids, it would be more like
my son's
11-ish.
very fuzzy.
Well, I remember like bits and pieces. Yeah, exactly. Trevor, to your point, like I remember bits and pieces from when I was like 5 or 6 of the trip we went on, right? Like, but very small pieces, like very fuzzy memories, like you said.
Yeah, I don't think again, if you stayed at like Saratoga, it would be a problem. Let's put it that way. I also think the Grand Villas are also interesting because you almost have to do the 2-floor ones. Where's Boardwalk is the one that has single floor ones, right?
Riviera, I think, is single floor too.
Okay, I think
there's a couple that are that are 1-floor ones. Yeah,
I think the double floor ones though bring this whole sort of mystique to them. As silly as that sounds. I just think it brings a different level. Yeah, remember the time we stayed at Disney?
Like even like staying in like a loft hotel room. Like I know what you mean because like we've not at Disney, but we've done that with like we've stayed at hotels where it's like, oh, the bedroom's up in a loft, right? And it's like, hey, that that's different. Yeah. That it's a different feel than just staying in a larger room, right?
Yeah.
So I actually found an answer to this, by the way. All right, so single floor villas, Grand Villas, Alani, Animal Kingdom, Jumbo House, Kidani has 2-floor, and then Copper Creek, Boardwalk, Riviera, and Grand Floridian are all 1-floor. So there you go.
There we go.
There you go. There's your answer. It's shockingly easy to find that answer.
Do we want to get back on track or?
No.
Yeah, sure. Let's get back
we were just talking about how the episodes are too long, and then we just go on these weird tangents. So Austin asks, with Disney filing extensions on the Reflection site, which, by the way, I didn't put this as a news item, but so there was basically they had the permits for building Reflections. They just renewed the permits. And so Austin's asking, do you think the projects on hold are truly dead? I tend to think so. The permits that they actually renewed were for like the area where they were storing all of like the equipment and stuff. And I kind of just think that they're just keeping that area to store the equipment for the cabins that they're going to build over at Fort Wilderness. That's just my guess. I think Reflections is dead for now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. Just because they're renewing that doesn't mean that they're starting it again. It's just Disney, Disney being Disney. Right. And yeah, like you said, I think because of the fact that we have the cabins and the poly going on right now, I don't see why they would start Reflections right now, because
no.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think they would do it.
Yeah, there's too many other things. Like we talked about this last week with Derek, even that, there's more properties available right now for sale than there has ever been with Disney. So, maybe they're just going to keep Reflections going in the back hold on to permits and stuff until they're ready to start it. But I think, realistically, you're talking minimum 3-4 years out. Yeah.
No, I agree. It's going to be a while before they even announce that they restart it. I just think this is like you said, I think this is just Disney being Disney and doing like, they're going to build all these cabins. They need to build the cabins. They need to like keep the material somewhere, right? Like, or they need to stage them if they're building them somewhere else and they're just going to install them. Like they need to places like, I think, and it's close enough that it makes sense that it's right, it's right there. So honestly, that's what I think it's for. I don't really think it's for Reflections, but who knows? Maybe.
I'd like to be pleasantly
keeping it alive,
wrong, but
yeah, sure. I just don't know if we need more Magic Kingdom resorts, like you said, but
it's,
I don't know. We're getting to more.
It's kind of, like I said, with everything else going on, it feels like there's so many other places that they could put a resort that, like you said, is not right outside of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of DVC, just to make a transition here. So 6 DVC resorts were named Best for Families by Travel and Leisure readers. And the 6 are Aulani, Grand Californian, Animal Kingdom Lodge, Beach Club, Hilton Head, and Vero Beach. What do you mean, who are these people? I agree on Animal Kingdom.
Best for families. What about any of these resorts makes them better than any other DVC resort? And honestly, it feels so. Okay, I'm just gonna say this is that it feels like this is Disney trying to plug some resorts. Okay, fine, Grand Californian's worked in there, and Animal Kingdom has worked in there, but like Vero and Hilton, and then Aulani,
but Hilton Head's really great for. I know Hilton Head is great for families, I think. And Aulani, I've heard.
Why do you think that though?
What do you mean? I just felt like there's a lot of family activities there. I don't know. It just felt very
what?
Like all of the shuffleboard games, like the sports activities, like the beach stuff. Like I don't know. It felt like a very family oriented place to me. Like the little lobby with the pool table. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there. And I mean, Beach Club, I think it's just because of the pools, right? I mean,
and Grand California, I think only got on here because it has an entrance right into one of the parks. Because there's not a lot to do at Grand California that you wouldn't find at any other DVC resort.
And Vero and Hilton Head are pretty much the same for the same reasons, at least.
Yeah, I get that. You liked Hilton Head a lot. You just didn't like Vero as much, right? I mean,
Vero was just okay. I mean, Hilton Head is better, I think.
Yeah.
But I also like Hilton Head, like the area a little bit more. I think the food situation at Vero is tough. Like, it was funny. I was talking to my parents about it because they're always looking for things to do, right? They're doing, I think, the Keys to the Kingdom and stuff like that. And they're always looking for different stuff to do. It's like, how do you not go down to Florida and just go to Vero? Like, why not go there and try that out? I think it's more of a older person vibe there, personally.
Yeah, I get that.
But, I mean, we did go down there and play, we played tennis. We almost, what was that, where the wildcat almost, was out for the hunt, right? Like whatever it was, the bobcat, I don't remember.
You got bobcatted or whatever you call it.
Yeah. So, I mean, but then again, as I told you, my kids are on this whole new thing. We're like, well, I could play tennis at home. Well, I don't know, drive 10 hours away to play tennis. Like, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Trevor, I understand your point. I feel like Animal Kingdom makes sense here. I get Beach Club too, just because of the pool situation. But like, Hilton Head, okay.
So I guess the thing
fine.
to point out with this is, it says up at the top, 6 of the DVC resorts have been recently recognized by readers of Travel and Leisure for the 15 best U.S. resorts for family in 2022. So I guess these are non-Disney people that are voting on, the best places to go with their families, which I guess maybe that's why it doesn't make sense to me, because it's like if I'm looking at it from a Disney lens, it's like, yeah, there's better Disney resorts, but I guess if you're just traveling, or if you don't have that, lens of like, what am I looking for Disney stuff, maybe this is better, or maybe these are better resorts if you're just, kind of showing up with no expectations. But like I said, to me, it just feels like somebody picked like some lesser known Disney resorts, or not lesser known, lesser utilized.
I mean, I've heard Aulani's amazing though. Like, I mean, I've heard
yet the points don't sell out.
So.
Why is that? Like,
yeah, I think that's more because it's not exactly easy to get to. Like, I really think that's the problem with Aulani, is that, like, especially for people that were buying points. Yeah, I think it was probably not a good idea in the first place. But I mean, like, listen, Aulani's ranked number 5 overall on this list. So I mean, and I've heard I've heard it's amazing, and I have heard that it is. The one complaint about it is that it is a little too geared towards younger kids. So I don't know, maybe that's what it is, but I could be wrong. I haven't been. I mean, at some point we're definitely going to go. We just haven't. So. I'm actually, like I said, Animal Kingdom to me makes perfect sense on here, because part of the reason we bought there is because my daughter loves animals, and I think most kids love animals, right? Like it's just
like I said, that one seems fair, but like I said, some of the other ones, I guess I'm just looking at going, I guess because I'm looking specifically for a Disney vacation, not just a vacation.
Sure.
So maybe that's more to do with my perspective on this list than anything. Yeah,
that makes sense. It makes sense. All right, so let's go to this next topic here. So this is interesting. So beginning June 27th, which if you're listening to this is the day after if you listen to this the first day, it's the day after. So June 27th, Genie Plus is going to be changing yet again. And so what they're going to do is park specific pricing for Genie Plus. So guests will be able to purchase Genie Plus for multiple parks. So they're doing like a park hopper for Genie Plus now, instead of just one price and you can go to any park and get it. So, you could do a multi-park price and then individual prices for each park. The individual price piece makes total sense to me, because I think we've talked about this on the show before. Like, Genie Plus makes sense for Magic Kingdom more than it does for Animal Kingdom. You know what I mean? Like, it just does. Or even for Epcot, right? And case in point, in the example they used here, the individual prices were $27 for Magic Kingdom, $24 for Hollywood Studios, $18 for Epcot, and $16 for Animal Kingdom. So, like, it's almost like they know, right? Like, they know for Epcot and Animal Kingdom, it's not as important there. So, I don't know. This is an interesting change. I do also think the change is interesting for the park hopper piece of it. Like, is that just they're like almost preparing, for park hopping to be easier and need to control it? Or I don't know. I mean, because under the old system, you could hop from park to park and still book additional fast passes, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could, because
you definitely could.
We did do that in the old system. Yeah. I guess maybe you're right. They're probably intentionally looking at the more that they're opening up the parks for that kind of flexibility, they want to make sure that Genie Plus doesn't, like, the funny thing is that the way it's structured right now, Genie Plus actually limits you or stops people from park hopping, because it's like, well, I want to get the value out of the park that I'm in. So you end up staying in the park instead of park hopping. So the one thing I'm curious about is that they don't list the price the multi-park is the price of the Magic Kingdom one. Yeah. So
same. Yeah. It's the same as the Magic Kingdom price,
the thing about that is that it's like, well, okay, so I guess, if you're starting at Magic Kingdom, that the other side of it is it kind of forces people to, if you're park hopping from Magic Kingdom, it may make sense, but maybe if you're starting in Epcot and you're hopping to Magic Kingdom, it might not make as much sense, because then there's also the issue of you may not necessarily get everything that you want in Genie Plus, right? Because it's limited availability. So it's kind of funny because the tiering of it makes it, or from my view, they're kind of forcing you to rank the parks and rank what you see as most important, which is getting us back into kind of the whole issue with the fast pass, right? Like I see where it's good that they're doing it. It's definitely fair. Like actually looking at the example, Magic Kingdom, okay, there's enough there that $27 I could justify it. Epcot, there's enough stuff there that I want to ride that I could justify it. Same thing with Animal Kingdom. For me, the loser in this is actually Hollywood Studios, because it's only $3 cheaper than Magic Kingdom, and it's not like there's not nearly as much stuff to do in Hollywood Studios as there is in Magic Kingdom. And I know that it's like, but you can, you can, well,
really though?
There's a lot, there's a couple of heavy hitters there, I guess is the thing, but there's not the in-between rides, I guess, or the, the like filler rides. Yeah.
There's a lot of E-tickets and not a lot of D.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I feel like I would, fine. I get onto, a couple of bigger rides, but I'm not spending as much time there as I would with Magic Kingdom. Right.
But do you need Genie Plus for everything at Magic Kingdom?
But I guess when we used it on our last trip, it did help because we did get a lot of those rides done. And the funny thing is because it forces, like, you could only do one ride. We ended up using Genie Plus for rides that I didn't think I was going to, just because it was like, well, we can get on this now, or I can go wait in line for something for 20 minutes. So yeah,
that's how Fast Pass was too, right? Yeah, you're just like, oh, there's a Winnie the Pooh available right now. Why not?
Yeah, this is just, it's turning into
like I said, it's kind of going back to the whole Fast Pass, like having to weigh your options. But now you're paying, and that's now you're worse, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's where the problem is. It's the paying portion of it is just, I don't know. Like, again, we were at Epcot and we did Guardians of the Galaxy Lightning Lane, and everyone left except me and my daughter, and we're like, all right, well, let's see what Frozen and Ratatouille are, and I was like, no, it's just too long. But now the question is, if those were the two things I was going to ride for argument's sake, right? So it's $36 versus 2 hours. Yeah, really, I should be picking it up for $36 if I can get, on those rides, or But I don't know.
Still requires planning on your part of getting them early, because again, you're going to have a hard time.
Those two things.
Yeah, for those two things, they're talking about two of the most popular rides in the park, right? So you'd have to get them early.
Yeah, but then Soarin's just like walk on. So the question is, like, I don't know. I think Disney's making it's making it hard. It's making it hard now. It really is.
Having to make some hard
exactly what you're talking about is you're having to weigh your time versus your money. And the hard part is that if you choose money, but you may not actually be saving. Like, it doesn't feel like a win all the time, right? Like it feels like,
even at $36, which is definitely worth 2 hours without a doubt, 100%. It's still, like, Tom's saying, it's still like the planning of it. Man, I'd just rather go over to McCool's for $36, man. Let me just drink soda till I'm sick. Like,
you want a Genie Plus for Club McCool. You want to be able to pay a certain amount and then just be able to stand in front of the machine for as long as you want. Without
you can do that now, though.
Yeah, nobody makes you move.
Yeah,
well, except for the people that
there's a certain pressure, right? There's a certain feel
there
bad.
is, and there's also a certain my whole thing is like, if you're gonna go there and get free drinks, that's okay, but like, have an understanding of like what's happening behind you. Like it's the people that like don't have that understanding at all. But you also realize is that because of the way that place is set up, everyone either goes to the front or the end. It's like those ones on the almost end are usually nobody there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, how much soda can I really drink? Let's be honest. I mean, I can only drink so much, man.
I mean, it depends which soda it is. I mean, if it's a Country Club, I could drink that one that orange cream one.
That cucumber one was really good too.
That was my favorite. That's one's fun. The cucumber Sprite was good. Yeah. What was that one
Sprite
called? I forget. But it's that like the cucumber Sprite's good. It's just called cucumber Sprite.
I just feel like if you're gonna give away, listen to this. If you're gonna give away that free soda, right? Why don't I just have that same selection in the lounge?
I mean, they should offer those flavors in the freestyle machine in the lounge, right?
Well, yeah, why not?
I don't know. It's a good
Coke
question.
Can't be bothered.
I mean, listen.
But how cool would that be?
There's always been that rumor, and I don't know if it's actually true or not, that Disney doesn't actually pay Coke for any of the syrups or anything, that they just provide them, as part of the agreement that they have with them for the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if that's true, but like to your point, Damon, like why not just offer it in there? I mean, they have it at the location at Disney Springs. They have all the flavors from.
Yeah, but you're paying for those.
Club Cool, but what?
Yeah,
that's true. You are paying for this. Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is there an extra like fee because they're from overseas? Like, is Coke paying more?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question.
If they're not, then why can't I get it in the lounge? That's the upgrade that I want. What it was, $17 billion? That's what I want.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just give me a little tick mark for like $100,000 so that we can have them for the year.
Yeah, but then you'll have to Genie plus the DVC
honestly,
because
David,
it'll be so busy.
Yeah, right. That's an awesome idea, though. That would be a great perk to add to the lounge, though. For real, like that's a great idea. I like it. By the way, so these changes, first of all, are not announced by Disney. So this is, I guess, technically a rumor until it actually happens. I mean, it's from a pretty reliable person. And then it does not apply to Disneyland. It's only Disney World. So just should make that known. And it's still variable pricing, by the way, too. So anyway, I guess we'll find out in 2 days here.
Yeah, like I said, I guess my feeling on that, I honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I guess in my head, I felt like that they were already doing variable pricing. They are. But I mean, per park. They have been. Because they haven't been doing it per park, right? Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. In my head, it seemed like it seems like this should have been happening already. But I still feel like we're getting dangerously close to that, forcing you to make choices and feeling like you're losing on the choice, right? Like, I don't like the way that's being lined up here. Yeah.
I get that. I get it. It makes sense. All right. Anything else on this one, or should we go ahead and do our ad and hopefully, no, we're not going to end it like an hour today, but
let's do the ad and then we can see where the rest of this goes.
We can move on here.
All right. This week it is Monera, who is a World of DVC company. They're the leader in financing of DVC resale contracts. Monera offers lending with the longest terms available at 12 years, the option of no credit check, instant approval, low down payments, and no prepayment penalties. If you're thinking of purchasing a DVC contract on the resale market, go check out their quick online quote first. You may be surprised just how affordable DVC can be. Go to monerafinancial.com or call 317-245-8800. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you, or if you're on the website, make sure you pick us on the drop down for where you heard about them.
All right. So
this is why I came to the show. This next thing. This is really the only reason. This is the only reason I came for the show, and I will tell you I'll be done after this because I spoke with me, Tom, and Trevor spoke for like half an hour before the show. Tom was like, "Does anyone have anything to say?" And me and Trevor were like, "No." And then I was like, "Well, maybe." But, that turned into a half an hour. So
yeah, that's what happens sometimes. Yeah. Right, I mean, sometimes we have stuff to talk about before the show. Sometimes we don't. And we were about to get started, and then it was like, "Well, wait."
We did have things we just didn't realize that we had things to talk about. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way. So this is interesting. So Imagineering shares a preview of Moana Journey of Water, and I just don't know how to feel. I really just don't. So there's 2 pictures. Yeah. That's really about it. The first picture makes me feel like there's some sort of story and like Yellowstone geyser sort of vibe going on where people are raising their hands and time with the water shooting up. So I feel like there's something going on there. I'm a little disappointed in the fences.
The chain link? Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons. Well, 1, that they're chain link, and 2, that they're actually even there. I felt like...
Is any fences at all?
Yeah. I don't love
but
that.
You know what would happen, though, right? If they don't have fences.
I do.
On those rocks within 5 minutes.
Sure. But here's the other problem. You made it chain link. Chain link is the...
It is chain link.
Is it chain link, though? I'm looking at it. It almost looks like a fishing net. It looks like a fishing net.
It looks like just... Yeah.
It could be. It's possible. But that's
it almost seemed to me, and it just kind of looks like chain link.
It looks
but
like
it looks
a
like
metal
a fishing
chain link.
That's what I'm
fence.
seeing.
Both are terrible.
Fit.
Yeah.
Both are terrible options. Even if it's a netting, it's still a terrible option. But I don't know how to feel about this because it makes me on one hand go, this doesn't look so good. Then on the other hand, I go, well, maybe if there's like a walkthrough story that's happening, maybe I'm intrigued. And then the next one is some girl trying to use the force to force water out of the stones, it looks like. I mean, that's kind of what I'm vibing here.
That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. I think that's what's happening in the first picture, that you raise your hands up and it makes the water come down.
It's the same.
I think it's...
Then why isn't everyone if that was the case, everyone would have their hands up. If I'm in marketing, why would I not have people have their hands up?
Well, maybe they were just, they're testing it, right? So maybe there's only a certain amount of people that...
This is the same effect that they are using in Pandora, where there's those animals or whatever. There's a place where they're like, don't wave at these things or they'll spit at you. And it's, you put your hands up in waves and then it shoots water at you. So this is the same kind of thing. They're just splashing with more water.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this.
The second one is confusing, right?
It is
a journey.
The second one is confusing, yeah. It says that here, begun to teach water how to play in journeys of water for all ages, will engage in water in a variety of ways as they learn about the water's amazing journey around our natural world. And then we get including ways to better conserve our natural resources, protect water, blah, 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 which is cool. Okay. Yeah. I just don't know. I really just don't know about this. I feel like I'm going to be okay with it, but these 2 pictures
throwing you off.
Like the 2 pictures make me feel worse. And I feel like I was vibing with this and on board with this. And now I see the 2 pictures and I'm kind of like, so where's the fence? Where's the fence in the second picture, by the way?
It's a good question. Maybe it's just specific to this one. I don't know.
Because if I take a look, these people at their waist, they're in the middle of the fence and we see her waist. Yeah. So I would think, I don't know. These 2 pictures almost do nothing for me, which
they don't there's not a lot of detail of what's going on in either one of them, right? Like it's really just kind of like general, like it's I don't know what's happening in either one of these.
like they could be on a log flume for all I know.
Yeah.
So is this all we have this and we have Splash Mountain redo? That's really all that's on the books right now?
Well, all the stuff in the middle of Epcot, like that whole middle
long overdue.
Open. I mean, but it's not like
which is
this is one part of it.
It's that and the stage. Yeah.
What's the other part?
The pavilion, like that's
that's not a ride.
No. There's no ride
experience.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're talking about those are the 2 things that are on the board right now for Disney
at the moment. Yeah, until they announce more stuff. Yeah.
And when they announce it, it's not like they're going to announce it and it's going to be ready anytime soon.
No.
So I mean, we're looking at the next, and I'm just curious though. But we're looking at the next probably 2 years, and this is what we got.
Yep. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah, because Splash Mountain, that's pretty much it, I think. Unless I'm forgetting something.
I just wish there was one more thing. Like, I wish there was something.
Sure. I feel like we've been in a super cycle, though. I feel like we've been in a super cycle of them opening stuff constantly for like...
It needs to stop.
I think I'm going to like this. I'm just I'm worried about, like, this would be great if this is what it looks like, but I feel like I should just take these people, multiply them by 10 and put them behind each other and like be pushing up against the fence. And then have somebody on their shoulders, right? So I'm wondering, will they limit this? They almost have to, I feel like, right?
Yeah, I think
They're gonna have
maybe
to.
you weren't on when we were talking about this, Trevor. I mean, Damon. I think
I might have been, but maybe I blanked out.
Yeah, because I saw somebody post a picture of a capacity sign that they saw. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Are they just going to let a certain amount of people in at once? Like you're going to feel rushed to go through it? Because I mean, it's like a walking journey. It's called a journey, right? So it's like you said, there's a story there, right? You're going through the water cycle. So
it's going to have to be, because there's no way they're going to pack people in rocks and water. I feel like fence or no fence. I just don't see it.
No fence. Yeah. I mean, could be. I don't know. We'll have to see. We're going to find out. I have no idea. So, I mean, we're going to find out soon because they said it's going to open.
Do you think the walls will come down?
The other thing is the summer or fall?
No, they said summer. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think most of the walls are going to come down, but they're still going to have the walls up for the Communicore stage or whatever it is that they're building still. And then, just that whole center area with all the landscape.
I think that's the worst part about this is that you open that up, you open up the Moana thing, but then it's still just walls around the rest of that whole center area, right? Like it's, I mean,
yeah. That's probably why it might be ready to open and they just don't want to do that, right? Like they don't want to open a small piece there.
That's driving me nuts though, because it feels like, I've seen comments about like, people are calling it Walcott now because, it's just,
Walcott, yeah.
You go into Epcot and it feels like that whole, like, I remember that whole center area used to, like, it was very 90s, but it was open and it felt, I don't know, it felt like you were in Epcot, right? Whereas now, like, the last couple of times, like even when you and I were there, it was so, there's like these small little channels that they were kind of pushing everybody along. And I just don't feel that, them opening up the Moana stuff is going to help it in any way. Yeah.
I mean, I get that. I mean, it's going to be it's still off to the side though, like it's not like,
I guess that's true. It's not going to be just, I don't know. I just don't, I'm not excited about this, honestly. Like kind of to Damon's point is I'm sure it'll be neat and all, but it's like, it's just, they really need to get something else going. And
I see this. I feel like I've said this before. This feels like classic Epcot to me. This feels like back like when it was edutainment kind of thing. When it was educational but also entertaining, and like they kind of got rid of that. I mean, like they just don't have that anymore. And I like the idea of them, kind of walking people through the water cycle. Like I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just feeling like the whole vibe of Epcot is off right now until they get rid of the walls. Like, yeah.
Until the walls are gone. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The walls need to be gone
already.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just be done with the walls. Like, I agree with you. I think most people are tired of the walls, right? But, I guess we're gonna see what happens. I mean, that's all that stuff is supposed to be done before the end of the year. So, obviously with Disney, it's always tentative, right? So, well, I mean, really with anybody that's doing these large projects, anything.
Well, it's even worse because it's been like this since 2019, which, is understandable. Like, things got paused there for a bit, but it's just when you can't remember when it's been going on for so long that you can't remember what it looked like before. That's a problem. Like, yeah.
No, it's I don't disagree with you. And I mean, the original plans were so cool too, and they had to scale them back, and like it just kind of stinks. But yeah, anyway. So I mean, I don't know. I'm still interested in this. I still think it's going to be cool. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, so, well, I was going to say, so you have this next piece on here about Joe Rohde saying that so the way, so he says there are options to fix the Yeti, and I guess the ongoing rumor was that in order for them to fix the Yeti, it would be like you'd have to take apart Everest Expedition. Yeah. And fix it and then put it all back together. And Joe, I guess, on Twitter corrected that to a certain extent. He said that rumor is not true about the whole ripping everything out thing. He said, the issue is a complex interface between finance, operations, marketing, design, timing, engineering, narrative, and I guess guest satisfaction. So all of these things need to line up to make a viable solution. There are solutions, there are not opportunities, which...
See, that tells me they found a solution that's going to cost a lot of money, that's going to take a lot of time. And when he says guest satisfaction, it's like, well, why are we going to spend $100 million and shut it down for 6 months when guests already love it? Right? Like, that's how
I guess what I read from that too is it's not just, why would we shut it down? But also, if you are shutting it down, you don't want to have it, or you don't want to have that a section of the park is basically gone and there's nothing else to divert people to, because that whole area of the park, like, I mean, it's not that they would shut it all down, but if there's no reason for anybody to go over there, because that, there's Everest, and then there's the Finding Nemo show, which, people would obviously still go to, but then Dino Land is also right next to there, which is very much not in good shape. So why would you make it that worse, right? Like, why would you make it so that there's even less traffic going to half of the park, and, making the rest of Animal Kingdom even more busy, right? Like I think that's kind of what might be what he's alluding to is, there's opportunity, but right now it's not a good opportunity. And like you said, also looking at money and everything else.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's what he's saying here, right? So finance, right? Like, how much money is it going to cost? Operations, to your point, you're shutting down the main attraction of the park.
Main attraction.
Right? Marketing, like I mean, it's that in the safari in that park, right? Well, I guess Pandora too, but then the marketing piece and design, timing, and the timing is a problem too, right? Like, maybe they could have done this while they were building Pandora or while they had other things going on, but it's hard to shut down that big of an attraction when Animal Kingdom already has less attractions than everywhere else, right? And so that's kind of how I read what he's saying, though, is like, hey, guests already rank this ride very highly, right? Like, so it's almost like Disney's like, why are we going to spend the money and shut down this ride and cause this huge ripple effect when we don't need to, right? Like, there's no reason to. When guests like it already, it's not that big of a deal. All it's going to do is, in fact, it's funny, if you go on there and you look at one of the responses to that, somebody says, wait, what's wrong with the Yeti? The person doesn't even know that there was a different Yeti. As far as they know, the Yeti has always been that way, right? So and are we at that point now that it's been long enough where most people don't even know that the Yeti's supposed to be different than it is?
It's over 15 years.
I mean,
right?
Well over 50. Yeah, it was what, 99?
Well, but
the park opened.
The Yeti was the Yeti was in operation in 2006, I believe. Because I got to see it, like, the first year it opened. I saw the Yeti in operation, and that was the only time I've seen it. So from 2006 until now, we're talking over 15 years.
I forget Everest was not an opening day attraction. I'm sorry, I take that back. So sorry, it was 2006. You're right, because that's when it opened. Was 2006. It's funny because I remember going in 2003 or 2004 maybe, and it being under construction. Maybe it was 05. I don't know, but let's see. When did they shut down the Yeti? They don't actually have.
I thought it was pretty recently. Like, it didn't last very long after it opened. I think it only was like that for like a year.
No, it says a few months. So. It says a few months here. So it's really not been long, I guess. So I mean, like, we're at a point now, I guess, where it's like most people don't even know it any other way.
Well, and then so to that point, that this kind of becomes the same thing as the Hatbox Ghost, where that was part of the original Haunted Mansion. People saw it back in 1969. And then, and then it became, an urban legend. And then when they finally brought it back, it kind of, it's not like the Haunted Mansion was ever like not busy, but it was like, it hyped it up, right? Like it was a point of excitement and everything. So, to your point, Disney may look at this and go, yeah, we could fix this right now for the sake of saying, oh, it's fixed, we're happy with that. Or, it is, doing these kinds of fix-ups is also a way to kind of leverage hype around things too, right? It's,
Well, that's the thing, right? Like if they did fix it, they could market the heck out of that, right? Like they could like literally, even though it's the same ride, they could like, do a whole thing like the Yeti's back. Like, they could,
but like you said, though, people are like, what's wrong with the Yeti? Like like
what's wrong with
the Yeti? So, instead of posing it as, fixing things, they may decide to pose it as, hey, we're making improvements to the ride. It was kind of the same thing as the Hatbox Ghost, is that was like, we have new technology. This is a way we're going to showcase something new, is by bringing this thing back that was taken away a long time ago. So they're kind of double dipping that way, and that, they did bring the thing back, but then they're also, using it as an opportunity to explore some new tech. So maybe they'll do something similar with the Yeti. It's like, hey, from when it broke down till now, maybe they'll have a newer way of doing it, or they'll have, some, it'll be able to move even more than it did before. They'll have like a whole different design to it. And maybe that's what the opportunity is that they're waiting for. Right.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. I just thought it was an interesting tweet. By the way, he doesn't tweet often, but a couple of the things he's tweeted on there are actually,
because he's not even working for Disney right now, right? He's doing other things. Yeah.
He's not, but he's like seemingly still a little involved somehow.
Well, like a lot of the Imagineers, I don't think they ever quit entirely. It's, there's always a relationship between them and Disney, right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right.
I agree. All right.
Yeah. You want to talk about food
right?
next? You can run down here. Yeah.
We haven't talked about food forever.
So this is the Flavors of Florida. Yeah.
It's like a mini festival. It's a mini festival over at
and this
Disney
is presented by Corksicle, which remind me again what Corksicle is.
They did food and wine last year.
Okay.
They did food and wine last year, I think. The past couple of years, maybe. They're like I don't know. They make like cups and stuff, I think.
but this is a very orange centric festival thing that they're doing. It looks like,
of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's Taste of Florida, so everything's got to be orange. Like they have this. Amaretto says the orange cream puff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd eat that. I don't even know what that is. Orange cracklin.
Choux pastry with orange cracklin filled with orange curd and honey orange gel. How many more times can we say orange?
That sounds delicious. A lot. I actually really like orange flavors in desserts. So like I'm down.
The thing I like is that there's no actual chocolate involved, because the one, and I've said this before, is when you get chocolate and orange together, I don't want it. So I'm glad.
I'm not a fan of that either. Yeah, no. That being said, this Orange Bird dome cake, although I don't think there's a little bit of white chocolate, I think, going on here, but layers of Grand Marnier soaked vanilla chiffon cake, mandarin, I'm not going to try to say that, mandarin orange cream, and white chocolate crispy pearls. Mm-hmm. I would eat that. That sounds pretty good, too.
And then for something completely different, there's a strawberry spritzer. So why not?
A strawberry spritzer. Oh man, Chicken Guy has an orange juice milkshake. That sounds terrible.
You think so? Because I do. So have you've had?
I guess it's orange and cream.
It's like an orange Julius, right? Yeah,
I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It just sounds.
Or I guess you never had like
the acidity
orange vanilla cream soda, right?
I have, though. No, I love orange and cream. Yeah, no, I do. It's just, I think it's just the idea of that like actual orange juice. I guess I'm just used to like fake orange
that's fair. Yeah,
with.
I can see that.
Like, I would hope that it's actual, like, it's not like the pulpy kind, because that would make it even weirder, It'd have to be.
You need extra pulp because
right?
if you're making a shake, it's got to be thick, right?
Oh God, I hate pulp in my orange. I will only drink orange juice if it's pulp free. I do not like pulp in my orange juice.
I will do regular pulp. I won't do extra pulp. I don't understand that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not a fan. All right. Anything else you're seeing on here that piques your interest?
The orange cream float again. It's that orange and cream. Vanilla ice cream with an orange cream bar presented in a novelty cup. So it's like a Coca-Cola glass with an orange creamsicle rammed in the top. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Orange bird milkshake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just I don't see. I mean, it's if you want some real like orange flavors, I guess. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of that going on here.
You know what? I have to say, Everglaze right here, the Citrus Dream Donut, orange glaze confection with, they didn't even call it a donut, they just confection with white buttercream, citrus flavored icing, and orange flavored candy and fresh mint. That looks delicious and sounds delicious.
Oh yeah,
I would.
And I know you don't like
that. Sounds really good.
Fish, but I see House of Blues has a local Florida mahi taco, which really like I love good like fish tacos. So yeah,
there's no
it's pickled onion, coleslaw, and with cilantro crema and fresh cilantro. So that's I guess that I found out apparently cilantro is one of those things that people either really love it or hate it. Like it tastes different to people. I didn't realize how.
Yeah, there's certain people it tastes like soap.
That's unfortunate if you are one of those people because I really like cilantro. Yeah,
Trevor, I am one of those people. It tastes like soap.
That's too bad.
I'll still eat it sometimes anyway, but like it's not. If I can not have it, then I won't. Like if it's an option to get rid of it, then I will. So yeah. I've never been able to. I always thought I didn't know for the longest time that was a thing, right? Like where it literally tasted different to some people. I just thought it tasted bad, and I was weird, right? Like because I don't like. There's a lot of things I don't like that a lot of people, like I don't drink coffee, and everybody likes coffee, right? So it's like, okay, well maybe I'm just the weird one. Maybe it's me, but it turns out that
it's not just you. So. One last thing actually just caught my eye, and. I'm not a coffee drinker, but they've got this at Joffrey's Coffee. There's a Buzzin' Honey Latte, which espresso milk, honey, and vanilla syrup topped with cold foam, and a special character who happens to be Spike. And it's a very like I'm guessing that they've got a template or something, and they're dusting it onto the foam. But it looks really good. Like again, it's one of those proper like. Disney looking things like it, the presentation is very Disney, even if it's not something I would eat or drink. Yeah.
I was going to say that I was surprised I didn't see more key lime stuff on here because I love a key lime pie. We actually at our meetup last year we had didn't we have mini key lime pies? Like they were those were really good. But I was surprised they didn't go that route. They went with the orange. But I mean, there is a key lime pie on this list. So over at what is it? Yeah, there's one at Paddlefish.
Yeah,
actually, that's what we had.
So
the key lime.
we know it's good.
That's hilarious. Yeah, we had the key lime at Paddlefish. It's delicious. Although ours were tiny, they were in little jars.
Yeah, they were in little mason jars.
Yeah, they're little mason jars. Yeah, they're delicious. I mean, I don't see anything else that's really jumping out to me here. Nope. I don't know if you do, but I think I'm good on this one. We just hadn't talked food in a while.
No, that's fair. And yeah, it's good to see what kind of seasonal stuff is going on from time to time, right?
Yeah. All right, well, let's jump over to the West Coast and talk about Disneyland a little bit. End our podcast with some Disneyland. So we're getting updates. We heard a while ago about San Fransokyo coming to San Fransokyo Square coming to California Adventure, and now we're starting to get some more details, and the work's actually getting done, so we can actually kind of start seeing some of the concept art here, right? And there's some really kind of cool stuff that they're putting in here. First of all, they're putting if you've seen this movie, obviously you'll understand the references, right? But like, I guess if you haven't, then it's going to be not make any sense to you, right? Yeah, but I think it's cool that they're putting Aunt Cass's Cafe as a place to eat.
I mean, that's a no-brainer
cool.
because they were always eating in her place in the movie. So yeah,
exactly, yeah. And so it looks like it's going to do what soups in sourdough bread bowls.
Which
I'm always up for sourdough.
Which I believe the place that was selling, or because it's taking over the Pacific Wharf, which would sell sourdough bowls. So
they're just keeping the same menu.
I wouldn't assume it's exactly the same. I'm sure that they're going to do some tweaks to it. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You have the opportunity.
Can we talk about this next picture that has the has this like fish turbine looking thing over up in the top?
Fish turbine.
That looks like a real photo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't. Yeah. The last photo that's on here, that looks like a real photo. That does not look like concept art to me. But it says artist concept only. Like it looks.
Well, I feel like real. Somebody took because I know where this is in Pacific Wharf, and so like I'm sure somebody took a reference picture, and then they added to it. Is what I'm guessing happened. Yeah,
it just like sketched over.
Yeah, but you're right. Like looking at it, like even like the trash cans and everything. It's like, oh, that I think they just took the existing trash cans and put the San Fransokyo logo on them. Yeah,
put the logo on it.
Yeah, it's yeah, you're right. The more I'm looking at it, I'm questioning if it was a photo, if it's a photo edit, or if it's
right. It looks like too real,
sketched over. Yeah.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, okay." Like they built some stuff already, and then I looked at the fish thing, on the post there, which they're saying it's a floating wind turbine, right? That looks like a fish, which is cool. It would be even cooler if it was like an actual working, turbine that created electricity from wind. Like that would be cool, but I doubt it. But yeah, once I looked at that, I was like, oh, that definitely looks like concept art, but the rest of the picture doesn't. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's creeping me out.
Something towards the bottom of this article. So they're talking about the different locations, like Aunt Cass's Cafe and Rita's Turbine Blenders, which offers up drinks and whatnot. But there will be new menu items at Kukina, Cucamonga, and Ghirardelli Soda Fountain. So we'll get to probably talk more about food here. Yeah, when they release the info on that.
When is this getting done?
They don't actually have an opening date for this that I saw.
Yeah, because they're saying in mid-July you'll be able to sample new San Fransokyo selections at Lucky Fortune Cookery, and the port of San Fransokyo will officially open.
But and then
So
I'm guessing it instead of doing it like as a big opening, I think you're going to find that they're going to open up sections of it over the next couple of months. Yeah,
it's like a phased opening. Yeah, like as they finish stuff. Yeah, I'm actually I hope it's still there, when I eventually get to Disneyland, because like I really liked Big Hero 6. I feel like it's a fairly underrated movie, and like the whole San Fransokyo idea and kind of like the design of San Fransokyo is so cool in the movie, and like so I'm kind of glad they're bringing some of it to life. It's just kind of to
give some perspective, Pacific Wharf has been around since the opening of California Adventure, Pacific Wharf hasn't changed, is what I mean. Like I actually don't remember if it was like opening day that it was there, but it everything else around it has changed. So like Pixar Pier and everything, this is really like the last remnant of like the old California Adventure stuff in that area. So I don't think you have to worry too much about this changing dramatically like in the next couple of years or anything like that. They seem to have they've done all the improvements to Pixar Pier and everything, and I think it's with the intent of having that longevity of it being obviously it's going to be Disney IP themed, instead of just kind of generic California stuff. And that was the problem with it before, is it was just like, you would go there and they had like, or you go to, Cars Land, which was amazing. And then you would walk past it and it was like Paradise Pier was kind of just very generic, like Coney Island kind of stuff, I guess, or Santa Monica Pier, I guess, was what it was modeled after. I don't see this. I don't think you have to worry about this going away anytime soon.
Yeah. I assumed that it wouldn't, but yeah, I mean, it is really interesting that they decided to go this route, because it's like, I know Big Hero 6 is known, but it's not like,
it's had some series stuff. Like,
I don't know where,
like they've done Baymax and they did the cartoon series and everything.
Yeah. I just wonder how many people really know Big Hero 6. Like, what is that? Is this like Treasure Planet level of Disney fandom, or it's not, right?
Yeah.
Definitely not. It's higher than that, but it's also not Moana or Frozen. It's somewhere in that.
Yeah. I mean, not everything has to be like,
right?
Like, whatever the next hype thing is, right? Like I think it's good to have some like, I don't want to call it mid-tier, but but I guess maybe that's what it is. It's it's mid-tier, it's hey, it's clearly Disney stuff, but it's not the Frozen just like kind of beats you over the head at this point, where it's the merchandise, the promotion, the everything around it is just crazy sometimes, whereas this is like, hey, this is it's still Disney, but it's something a little different, and it doesn't necessarily have the hype around it that these other IPs do, right? But it's still, yeah,
it's kind of insane how popular and how big Frozen still is, right? Like, when was Frozen 2? 2017, 2018?
No,
am I off on this?
It was after that, wasn't it? Yeah, it was
more recently than that.
Yeah,
2019. It's 2019. It's 4 years ago, dude. Like,
we also had the blip
4 years ago, and my daughter ate a mozzarella cheese stick, one of those little pull apart cheese sticks today that was Frozen themed. Like, it's just the packaging, of course, but like, Frozen is still so big, and it just doesn't go away.
And I guess the funny thing is, huge. We've had other shows, like Moana is obviously getting traction, and same with Encanto and stuff, but it's like, it just keeps coming back. Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
I think Encanto is like getting on the level of Frozen at this point, man. Like, because of how big that soundtrack was.
Yeah.
I think it's getting there. And I think Moana's pretty much up there too. Moana was huge. Those three I feel like are the three biggest that they've had over the past like 10 years
or current gen
as far as like
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm glad they did this. Like, I think it's awesome. And I also see that they're going to bring back the Baymax meet and greet, which is amazing, because like we did the meet and greet when he was at Epcot, and that was one of the coolest meet and greets we've done. Like, it just, I don't know. It's
totally
kind of cool. I know it's silly because like, you can go and get a Halloween costume that blows itself up, and it's basically the same thing, but it's a very cool meet.
Honestly, like the way it didn't feel like a cheap, like you said, like a cheap Halloween costume. Like, because my son's, like, I went with my son for the Baymax meet and greet, and I was impressed, like how much it felt like it came out of the show, right? Like, it wasn't,
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, it felt really real. It felt like you were really meeting Baymax. Like, it more so than some of the other meet and greets. Like, it felt really legit. So, it's also weird to think that the building where that was doesn't exist anymore. Like,
I actually forgot that that's where that was too.
It's yeah, man. Like, this, it's so weird that some of these buildings that were there are just gone now. That's part of why this has taken so long at Epcot too, is they had to tear all that stuff down and then rebuild. So, but yeah, and then wait. Yeah. Right. All right. Well, I think that's it. Why don't we wrap it up?
Where am I? I lost my spot in the. I was so busy reading all the Big Hero 6 stuff. lost. I need to get back to the rundown again. All right.
You can't do it from memory?
I can't, because I have all the prompts in the wrap up to make sure that I cover everything, because otherwise I would miss things. So yeah. So to wrap us up, as usual, if you guys want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing your trip reports. People send us their questions that way. If you, if you don't want to reach out to us on Facebook, or if you don't have Facebook, Gmail is going to be around for who knows how long. So you can always find us via email. If you would rather, like I said, if you'd rather reach out to us on Facebook, you can always find us on there as Welcome Home Podcast. You can also check out our Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. And on other platforms, we are on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast, and on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. So if you aren't following us there, make sure you do, because anytime we post stuff, it does show up on all those different platforms. You don't want to miss out. So you should just do it. That's just do it. It's fine.
Yeah, just do it.
If you would like to help support the show, you can always go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out our different merchandise. We got t-shirts and mugs and stuff there. Which if you're planning on going to the parks, get some merch going, and we would love to see pictures. We've had some of our listeners share, pictures of them, in the parks and outside of the parks as well, wearing our merchandise, which is still very cool and it's very weird to me that we have merchandise, because it doesn't feel like, I don't know. I still feel like we're just like starting this podcast, even though we talked about at the beginning of the episode that we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
It's always super cool
now
to see, people wearing our merch. So, like I said, if you're interested, please consider helping support the show. Same thing on Patreon. We have patreon.com/welcomehomepod is where you can go check out our different levels of Patreon support that we offer, which has exclusive Patreon merch that you can't get anywhere else. And Patreon members also get access to our Discord server, which is yet another place that we chat with our listeners. So if that's of interest to you, please have a look at that. And last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, because it does actually help more people find the podcast. And on iTunes, writing us a review is always great, because we do read the reviews. So you may actually show up on an episode if you do write us a review. And we also just love hearing your feedback. So, please consider leaving us a review.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have any to read this week, but
it's summertime, right? People are out doing things, so I get they're not thinking about their latest iTunes review.
Yeah, no, I agree. It makes sense. But of course, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app out there. You can find our show. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company. As such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult your DVC representative for more information, or a Disney cast member,
the guy
whoever,
on the bus.
Somebody from Disney, about more information. Talk to a bus driver. They seem to know everything. Oh my gosh, the bus driver.
Not the bus drivers. Don't.
Do you think the monorail drivers?
If you can talk to the monorail bus driver or to the monorail driver, I mean, maybe he'll give you some inside stuff.
They come out at the station. They come out at the station.
But the bus driver chat always happens when you're on when you're riding the bus, right? So you'd have to break into the front of the monorail.
I don't know why, but I trust the boat captains more than I trust the bus drivers, as far as information accuracy goes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So yeah.
It's the problem is the bus drivers are just the most forthcoming with the information.
Right.
They just tell you things, right? Whereas the boat drivers, that not as much. The boat captains not as much.
You got to get it out of them. Anyway, we totally went off the rails again here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. A huge thank you to Monero Financial for sponsoring this episode. And of course, World of DVC for being our sponsor for so many years and continuing to support the show. So join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.